I don't know what was going on, but it seemed as though there were some errors with the live. Hopefully you guys are able to join again. Sorry about that. What a pain. But as you can see, I've got my cute little sun loaf here. And I'm gonna pop it in the oven in, I don't know why the oven is taking forever to preheat, but I'm gonna pop it in the oven shortly. I'm gonna clear this little area of the luster dust, little mouth. See if I'm able to make it a little bit crisper. What happened? Yes, I restarted the live as per your request, Sandy, because I think you were having some, you and other people were maybe having some difficulty with the live. So now I'm just kind of doing the touch-ups on my bread. There. So the smile is a little bit crisper, a little bit cleaner. And I filled in the little shine of the eye. And I'm just going to take a little shot with my phone. Of the sun. Oh my gosh. It looks pretty goofy. But I'm okay with that. Okay. You never preheat your oven when making sourdough. You stupid. It's so unnecessary. Okay, well, I have done the cold bake before, and I always have better results when I preheat the oven. So, I mean, that's just personal preference. Yeah, really up to you how you prefer to bake. I actually already did, I don't know if you can tell, but I did score around the circle, Sandy. There's a little bit of a lift there. I did it during the other live. So yeah, I did score all around the circle there. Hopefully it will lift up nicely. So I am actually using the Broad and Taylor baking shell today. I've baked 2 loaves using the Broad & Taylor baking shell and baking steel. It's really easy to use. There's like no heavy lifting, and the shell you can easily lift off and place back on. So I'm really pleased with it. I love my Forno Grande. Don't get me wrong. I've had the Forno for 4 years, and I have baked, I don't know, like probably 1,000 loaves in it. So, I mean, both are excellent pieces of equipment. So if you have the Forno, you don't feel like you need to make another investment. I'm just saying that if you're looking, look into both of those items. All right. I'm going to take the sun to the oven. I don't know why my oven is still preheating. Okay, sorry about that, peeps. Let's see, I'm just gonna swap this around here. I don't know what was going on with my oven, but for some reason it wasn't identifying that it had been fully preheated. So it was just, I usually preheat it to 490 and it was at 550. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, we've got about, let's see, I set it for 25 minutes. I'm not going to pull it out and do the 7-minute score. I feel like the score around the sun should be adequate. because also I think it might be a little bit overproofed from the extended stay in the deep freezer. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and pop them in the comments. Let's see. I will answer anything. I can talk about... It is birthday month. Oh my gosh, it's birthday month. And we are... Yeah, mine is the last birthday. So we're done all the birthdays except for mine. Mine is coming up in a few days. So, yeah. I'm always kind of burnt out at the end of birthday month, and I'm like done with cake at the end of birthday month. I'm not a professional baker. Nope. I have not done any classes or anything. It's all kind of self-taught, you know. Thanks for your video. So relaxing to watch. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right. Yep, the sun is in the oven right now, so fingers crossed. I think the luster dust will look really nice once it's baked up and contrasts the matte brown of the dough. Okay. I do find that on the YouTube Live, I do get fewer people kind of coming in, but I do like to go on YouTube because there's the ability to monetize on YouTube, unlike Instagram. So that's my personal preference. All right. Pop some questions in the question box. Otherwise, I will just monologue for the next 20 minutes, and I don't know if you want me to do that. Okay. Let me think what I can talk about. I don't have a lot. I've seen some of your videos. You make very beautiful looking bread. I have been making bread for since the start of COVID. So it was like 2020. I'm sorry, my nose is a little runny. Since it was April 2020 that I received my starter from a neighbor. And that kind of started the whole process. And really what got me into it was the scoring, the decorative scoring, because I always need a creative outlet, which is something I discovered in adulthood. Love my Forno bread oven. Thank you for your recommendation, getting better with it. I'm really glad you like it, Sandy. I don't know, it upped my baking game. I love it. I mean, I'm not baking multiple loaves at a time. So, you know, if you're doing one or two at a time, it makes things easier than like using a big, heavy Dutch oven with a heavy lid. How to start baking like you. You just kind of jump into it. Do a lot of reading. You know, you can check out my recipe for my basic sourdough loaf. It is on my YouTube. It's like one of my most popular videos. You can go to it and check it out. You know, if you don't have a starter, one comes with my kit at www.sourdoughenzo.com. You can get the kit there. It's comprehensive. It's good for beginners and experienced bakers alike. You know, it's got the lab dehydrated starter. So it has been dehydrated in a controlled environment that makes reactivation super easy. And it's also very safe and quick. So my kit comes with that starter, that really special starter that's my own starter. And a bread basket, bowl cover, bread lawn, digital scale, scissors, bench scraper. Did I say Banneton? Anyway, it's a really comprehensive kit, and my starter comes with that. So go check it out, www.sourdoughenzo.com. It's really good. I actually ordered a kit for myself so I could see what it was like, and so I could do an unboxing. And like, I can't tell you how excited it made me to like open up the kit. It was just like, I don't know, it was a really exciting experience for me. It's really like premium tools. Like a lot of the kits out there have like really like lower quality tools, but these are tools I have hand selected and chosen specifically. They're like high quality tools. So it's like, and they've lasted for years and years. So highly recommend you checking it out. Yeah, or you can make your own sourdough starter. There are a lot of recipes online. You know, you start with flour and water and you mix and wait. It's a lot of waiting, a lot of patience. Just made your recipe for focaccia, a staple in our home. I love my focaccia recipe. I think that it can be difficult if you live in an area where it's like higher humidity. I know that a lot of people struggle with the water, the hydration of that recipe. It's a high hydration focaccia. And if you're not using strong bread flour, if you're using all-purpose flour, it turns into like soup. So if you only have all-purpose flour, then yeah, make that focaccia with less water for sure. But it's a good recipe. Oh my gosh, my focaccia is like also like one of my favorites. And actually last week I made a banana cream focaccia. It was, oh my God, it was so good. I I need to I need to edit the video and share the recipe because oh my God, it was delicious. Okay. Let's see. I really love your videos. Tried your sourdough brioche bread. It came out perfect. Yeah, I mean, again, another recipe that's like a higher hydration, but like if handled properly and if the gluten is developed well, you're using bread flour, it turns out so fluffy and so shreddable. It's really good. Difference between sourdough and oh, sorry, scoring is a challenge for me. I love your kit. Oh, okay. I mean, I think that making sure you have that your dough is frozen, has been in the freezer for an hour before scoring. That makes things a lot easier, especially if you want to take your time and go slowly. When I first started, I would always draw my patterns out on a piece of paper, and I would have that piece of paper at hand just so I could refer to it. Also, you know, maybe trying symmetrical patterns like that might be a little bit easier. Having tools, you know, you have the bread lawn, so that's great. But having like sewing thread, if you're using like a geometric style pattern, having that thread to kind of mark those straight lines, or like a skewer or a scribe to draw it out. I find that really helpful. But freezing the dough is like a game changer. The number of people who were like, how does your dough stay so firm? Like, it's frozen. Okay. Difference between sourdough and instant yeast. So instant yeast is like commercially made yeast. Sourdough is like made from the ambient yeast and bacteria in your own environment. So it's like purely like natural leavened. A lot of people find that consuming breads with like commercial yeast or purchasing commercially made bread is can be a lot more upsetting to the gut. Sourdough is like, it's good for the gut. It has like good bacteria and yeast. So a lot of people find that sourdough can be more agreeable for their gut. So I myself prefer sourdough bread, although now I can find healthier breads with good macros in grocery stores. You just kind of have to keep your eye out for it. Sometimes they're in the health food section, or they're kind of like squirreled away in a corner. But honestly, nothing's better than homemade. Hi, Jenny. Oh, from Arkansas. Awesome. All of my recipes are either on YouTube or on Instagram. The reason why it's divided that way is just because editing the long form can be really, it's a totally different game. So I haven't done all of my videos in all of my recipes in long form. So you can find some on Instagram and some on YouTube. Love the taste of sourdough. Yeah, absolutely. And you can always, make the dough more sour or less sour depending on how much starter you're using. So the less starter you use, the longer it takes to ferment, which makes it more sour. So if you use less starter in your dough, you'll end up with a more sour flavor profile. Is there any downside to feeding your starter different flours? I mean, I don't think so. As long as you're doing regular feeds. Sometimes, like for example, I've started multiple starters. Like I've created multiple starters. I just have one in the fridge now, but I have created starters multiple times. And I have always found that when I'm creating a starter, I start with rye flour and then I transition to all-purpose flour. I find that process where the yeast and bacteria adapt to the all-purpose flour to be very slow. So if you're going from feeding like whole grain, like rye or whole wheat to like white flour, often it'll be like really, really slow. But if you're just, feeding different all-purpose flours, that's fine. I do find, depending on the all-purpose flour, it can produce a really different smell, which was really a big surprise for me. Like I purchased Arva flour mill all-purpose flour, and it always made my starter smell like sulfur. I'd like stir it, and the gas, like the gas from the bubbles was just like, oh, like eggs. So I decided that I wasn't going to use Arva flour to feed my starter. I've used it for baking bread and it's fine. And often after I stirred off that first, stirred out the gas, the smell was gone. But yeah, just you can use different flours. That's totally fine. Does cutting the razor in the lamb help? So there's that little kind of tiny lip on the razor. I always snip that off. If you're going for really, really like fine pointed details, sometimes people like snip down and down to create like an M shape in the blazer. So it's in the razor. And so that way you can do like really fine detail. So, I mean, yeah, certainly you can try that. I find at the very least, get rid of that lip on the razor because otherwise that can snag the dough. And that's happened to me a lot. Use sharp scissors and make sure you're also holding on to that piece of the razor. Otherwise, it'll just go flying. I just got my starter going. It's been 6 days. Is it okay to put in the fridge now? It has doubled 2 days in a row. Does that mean it's ready? Lots of bubbles. I just don't know how to tell if it's ready. Yeah, that's a good question. I would keep going. I would do that for another 3 days. Just kind of keep going. It'll help develop the strength. Don't put it in the fridge yet. It's probably not ready just yet. I mean, if you're willing to experiment, then sure, go with that. You can take a scoop of it and put it in the fridge and then take the rest and feed it and see how it goes. I think that's a good way to go. One time I was going up to my husband's parents' cottage and I forgot my sourdough starter. And so I made one there and it was ready in 3 days. Like I've never had that before. I attribute it to the very hot environment. There's no AC there and the use of filtered water. But yeah, I don't know. I would recommend maybe experimenting. Throw a bit in the fridge and feed the rest. Can sourdough bread be made with all-purpose flour? I tried and it was very chewy. So the all-purpose flour probably wouldn't make it chewy. I'm guessing it's chewy because it's underproofed. That's my guess. You can definitely make sourdough bread with all-purpose flour and it won't be chewy. That is a proofing issue. Love from Mexico. What is your favorite fruit or seed to mix with the sourdough? I like cranberries and raisins. I like putting apples in my focaccia, like fresh apples. And although if you put too much, it'll weigh it down and you'll end up with a super dense focaccia. Don't put too much in. I've made that mistake before because I just want more apples, but it can really mess with the dough. Yeah, raisins and cranberries. You could do like a cranberry walnut. That's really nice. In terms of seeds, I love flax seeds in my sourdough. I love poppy seeds in my sourdough. Yeah. The reason why I like my basic loaf of sourdough bread. I like I like the versatility of eating it like however I want afterwards, in a sandwich or whatever. I also like that it's easy to score because if I make a bread with a lot of inclusions, it's harder to do those like kind of pretty scores. How do I tell what's the best hydration level for my flour? I found a lovely organic unbleached flour I'd love to use, but I can't seem to get it right. Is it an all-purpose flour or is it a bread flour? Because bread flour will be able to absorb more water. If you're new to sourdough baking, and it's an all-purpose flour, I'd keep the hydration at like 65%. It's a bread flour. Maybe if you're new to sourdough, then keep it at like 70%, maybe. I'm always drooling watching your breads. Yeah, learning how to make sourdough, it seems really daunting. But you got to start somewhere. It's like, it's easy and it takes time. That's it. I don't know. I don't find it overly complicated. It's just being able to understand proofing. I think the biggest thing is the time commitment. And even then, it's not active time. It's a lot of sitting and proofing. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, I think I put it in for either 25 or 30 minutes, but I kind of want to check on it. Maybe I'll give you guys a peek and then disconnect the live. This is probably a dumb question, but you know what your hydration is, or how do you get 100% hydration? What is the most common hydration for sourdough? Okay, so you need to look at baker's percentages. Baker's percentages, it basically divides whatever the ingredient is by the total amount of flour. So if you have 1,000 grams of flour and you use 700 grams of water, that's 70% hydration, 70% water content. But then if you're adding other liquids, like if you're adding starter, you also have to include the amount of water that's in the starter. So if that makes sense. If you're using like 1,000 grams of flour and you're going to use 2% salt, that's typical for sourdough bread, that's 20 grams of salt. So it's divided by the total amount of flour in the recipe. A typical hydration for sourdough bread is like, if you're starting off, I would say 70%. 70 to 75% is like, 75% is like a moderate hydration loaf. Okay. Let's see here. I'll turn the timer off here. Really curious how this turned out. And it smells good. It smells sour. All right, so this is the baking shell here. My Broad & Taylor baking shell. Ooh. Oh my goodness, there's barely any rise to it. Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna cover it up again. I think also because of the temperature, maybe it needs to warm up a little more in there. It is smiling. Yeah, it's a smiling sun loaf. Okay, so I think I'm going to disconnect now. Hopefully I'll be able to edit this video. You know, if the sourdough isn't a complete fail, I will share it in my Instagram Reels and my YouTube Shorts and my TikTok videos. So keep an eye out. I really appreciate you guys hopping on and joining me and asking me questions. Okay, bye.